Oh, so looks like we are live.
Hey, we're live.
We are live.
We are here. Welcome, everyone. I don't know if we have people in yet. Let's give it a couple. Let's give it a couple minutes. Let me turn off my reverberation. All right, we are
So,
live.
are you ready for the conference in May?
I am so ready. We're getting closer and closer, day by day, week by week. I'm so ready. So ready.
I'm excited for the lineup.
Yes, likewise. And we'll give it another minute or so, but it's going to be recorded, so we'll just go ahead and start.
Okay.
Then I'll intro myself, and then I'll throw it to you, and then we'll go from there. I want to welcome everybody in. If you're joining from whatever platform you're joining from, welcome. I'll go ahead and get started. I am one of your co-hosts / engagement coordinators for the conference. My name is Rob. Yeah, I'll be co-hosting. I got my other co-host here with me,
Mikayla, aka the ABAVerzus.
First of all, I love that name, by the way, the ABAVerzus. We were talking about that earlier. I just think that's such a dope name for what
I
you
know,
do.
and I don't even remember where it came from. I just remember I was like, all right, I need to curate a space for ABA, and for the journey, and the name, like, it just came to me like this. So, yeah. So when I go to conferences now, I got to be careful because I have to put Mikayla, aka the ABAVerzus, because in the beginning I didn't have my face on the platform. It was just, the cartoon. So, but now I'm showing face form.
I love that. So when people see you in conferences or in public, do they be like, "Hey, it's the ABAVerzus"? Do you get that?
Well, I went to my first conference this year. It was the We Bad
Okay.
conference, and at the time, my platform was just a cartoon character as the logo, and my face was not on my page at all. And I connected with a few women. They're like, "You need to put your face on there," and I was like, "You know what? You're right. Be the brand. I'm behind this, but I need to be the brand and come to the forefront. And we do that as RBTs. We like to put ourselves in the back. So I'm learning to move forward and show face more in confidence.
Since we're already here, just give us a little intro about who you are, how you got into the field, and how you got into the conference.
I stumbled in the field. Honestly, I have a background. I managed a neuropsychologist office where we did the diagnosing for kids with autism, ADHD, and so forth. And then I always worked in the outpatient setting for speech and OT. And I was like, I want to I want to go into direct care. I was always that admin behind the scenes. I was always, the office space kids that would come in when parents were having their, one-on-one with a neuropsychologist. So for, the results. And I was like, I want to work with these kids, and I just kind of took a leap of faith and I pivoted. I left the corporate corporate climb, and it was a big culture shock for me, you know, from like now RBT role where you're not leading, you're more, yes, I don't want to say you're following, but you're being, you know. So it was a big culture shock for me. You know, with there's always a lesson. So I'm lucky. I'm really absorbed in the journey. Like
I love that. I love that. I'll try not to be long-winded, but my journey started maybe like 7 years before I officially entered the field. I took an ABA class. I was like, my advisor, it was a psychology elective, and my advisor was like, yeah, I want to put you in this ABA class. I'm like, ABA? What is ABA? It's applied behavior analysis. I'm gonna put you in the class. Don't worry about it. Cool. I trusted him. He was a super cool professor. So I go into this ABA class, and we're watching these videos of these people in these cubicles or on the floor or in a clinic setting, trying to help kids match numbers and letters and colors together. You know, it's one of those classes, like it's an elective, so I'm just gonna get a quick B real quick. If I get a C, it's okay. And so I end up doing really well in the class. And so my advisor was like, well, alongside this class, there's an ABA practicum and then an internship. So I was like, hey, I'm trying to gain as much knowledge and networking experience as I can while I'm here. Might as well take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And an internship was one of the things we needed to graduate. So I was like, oh, 2 birds, 1 stone. So I get an internship in an ABA clinic that's inside a hospital. So this clinic was like 1 BCBA and like 8 RBTs and like 5 kids. So super small, super intimate. And I remember my first day there, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? What is happening? Everybody is working one-on-one with their client. It was like organized chaos. It's like everybody knew what they was doing, but if you didn't know that they knew what they were doing, you'd be like, what is happening here? So I joined, I ended up finishing that practicum, finishing that internship. I graduate 2020 in the midst of COVID. I'm working as a manager. I know, right? I'm working as a manager in a gas station, and I end up getting this job at a hospital. And so COVID hit, and so they lay us off. So I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna pay my bills. It's like 2-3 days later, the universe, God works in mysterious ways. I get an email. Hey Rob, I remember you did our internship with us a year back, and you never finished your RBT. Are you still interested in doing that? Because I had never finished my 40-hour yet. I finished the internship, finished the practicum. I was like, I don't know if this is for me, you know?
Yeah.
So I started the 40-hour, never finished it. Make a long story short, we get laid off at the hospital. They call me in. They're like, hey, we want you to come in, finish your 40-hour. We're going to get you in. Finish my 40-hour. I passed the test my first time, and I've been an RBT ever since 2020. And I fell in love with the field. So yeah, that's my background. And then I linked up with Jerron on LinkedIn. He's like, man, we have a super dope opportunity. We're starting a behavior technician conference. I said, an RBT conference? He's like, yeah, man, for RBTs, by RBTs. Never heard of such a thing before. But now I have. Shout out to the ABA Roundtable, by the way. But yeah, I was like, definitely, I want to take advantage of this. I'm like the biggest advocate for RBTs ever, and so I love everything that RBTs do and stand for, and what we represent, and what this field represents, and the impact we can have. So that's how I got into it.
I was actually a panelist on the ABA Roundtable. Shout out to them as well.
Shout out to them. I love that.
Yes, that was my first space. But it's just nice how these places are being curated for RBTs to have a voice and be heard. You know, it's amazing. I'm loving where this is going. I really do.
I likewise. And so
that's what makes me more excited for this conference coming up as well.
Yes. So let's get some logistics out the way. The conference is May 3rd. May 3rd, everybody. If you're tuned in, set your calendars. It is May 3rd. It begins at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So that's like, if you're over here on the East Coast, that's 11. If you're on the West Coast, I believe that's around 7 or 8 your time. Don't quote me on that. Just click it in. Go on the Behavior University website. You can click in. It'll let you know exactly what time it starts in your area. Yes. It's an all-day virtual conference. You can log in from anywhere in the world. All you need is some internet or some Wi-Fi or some data.
Data.
Data. Are you a data? Or you're data?
I'm a data. Listen, I was born and raised most of my childhood in England, Birmingham. Okay. So my grammatically speaking, yes.
Well, I was born and raised in Michigan, so I don't know. I always ask that question, like, are you a data or data type of person? And I probably fluctuate data.
I do too. It all depends.
Yes. So yes, all day conference. Hey, shout out to Yoga and Therapy checking in on Instagram. So all day conference. We're virtual, so you can log in from anywhere. All you need is a computer, phone, laptop, tablet, whatever you have. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be 4 hosts. I'm one, Rob. That's Mikayla. That's another one. We also have Jason and Nicole.
Yes.
We have some super dope speakers. Our keynote speaker is Dana Miller. She is the founder of Study Notes ABA. I think that's the official title. Study Notes. Super big company. They do a lot of big, cool things that help people pass their tests when they want to become a BCBA. I know my girl, she became a BCBA. She used Study Notes. She loved it. She was like, Dana Miller's going to be the speaker? Oh! So she was super excited about that. And then as far as registration, let's talk about registration real quick. So a couple cool packages. Right now, we still have discounts going on. RBTs, $25. BCBA, $65. We got an RBT bundle for 4 RBTs. You can get those for $80. 4 BCBAs can sign up for $240. And we also have a really cool, which I think is the best deal, especially if you're a BCBA trying to bring RBTs on. One BCBA, pass the big ABA exam. I'm so
yes.
Oh,
yeah. I'm thinking that.
Scratch all of that. But we do have a partnership with Study Notes ABA. I do know that, but pass the big ABA exam. Yes. She has a big white book.
I think we all have that book. I know I definitely have that book. Listen.
Yes. Charge that to my head, not my heart. And yeah, so yes, that is our keynote speaker, Dana Miller, Pass the Big ABA Exam. Like you said, we all have that big book, especially if you want to become a BCBA. And which you're on the journey of becoming, right? What we were talking about?
Yes. We spoke on that earlier. Yeah, so I'm done with my hours. I'm just waiting on the test date. Right now, I'm just waiting for a call back. We have a bit of a wait list down here in South Africa. So, I just got on with them earlier. So hopefully I have that test date and, keep it to myself.
I love that.
Even though I work well under pressure, it's just,
I feel like you can't be an RBT or behavior technician or ABA therapist or in this field at all if you can't work under pressure.
That's right. Right.
There's just moments. There's going to be so many moments in this field where you're like, oh my God, what should I do? What am I going to do? If you can't handle that, I don't know. I don't see how you'll fare well in this field. It's something that your heart really has to be in the good days and the bad days, And
you have to have tough skin.
You've got to.
Every child is not alike. I had 3 of my friends today one day, and it was I had to prepare myself differently. Each one of those, they all have their different, their reinforcers. It's just you have to really be able to, just multitask and just cater to each child's specific needs or adult, if you will, which you do. You are close to, right?
Yeah. And I was thinking that as you were talking, you can take, and this is why I love that we're going to talk about this in a little second. That's why I love that we have the panels, because you can take 20 RBTs and you're going to get 20 different experiences in the field, And that's what I love about this. Is like, no day is the same. No one position in clinic in school is the same. You have to have tough skin. You got to be able to go with the flow, roll with the punches. You got to be able to get on the ground.
Yes. And I think every RBT's experience is different. And I think that's what makes this conference such a great space, especially if you're a panelist, right? Your voice is going to be heard, and you get to share like your experience, your journey as an RBT, and wherever you're going on this journey. If you just love being in that RBT, it's just a nice space to just share. I think a lot of the times we feel like we're not heard, or we see our supervisor once a week or every 2 weeks, and it's so for the most part, but you create these meaningful relationships with parents and caregivers and stuff like that. But be in a place where you're able to voice the things that you've gone through on this journey, what makes this conference really amazing and look forward to.
I totally agree. And I couldn't agree more. And I love that because the panel you're a part of is called Voices from the Field. And I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say and like what their perspective is, because like you said, sometimes we feel, and that's part of the reason why I joined this conference. When Jerron asked me, he's like, and we've talked with a bunch of other people, it's like, what is the biggest thing you feel like RBT struggle with? And like outside of like the burnout and the inconsistent schedules, it's like a lot of times you feel isolated as an RBT. If you're in a school, you may be with some other paraprofessionals or a teacher who may not quite understand what you're doing. If you're at home, if you're doing an in-home setting, it's just you and the kid and the caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, the only time you can get that connection, that community, is if you work an in-clinic type of setting.
Yes.
And the biggest takeaway that I've advocated for with this conference is like making sure we have a set network of people, a set network or a setting that we can all connect. And that's why I love all the different Facebook groups as well. And I want us to have that same type of space where it's like, connect. Let's ask each other questions. Let's cry on each other's shoulders. Listen,
social media alone, let me tell you, the connections that have been made in this space.
Yeah.
Like what a lot of people don't know, and I had mentioned this on my story a couple days back, was I had taken my personal Instagram because I was like, I feel, I could talk to my best friend, I could talk to my husband, I could talk to so many different people, but half the time people don't know they don't know what's a BCBA, what's the RBT, what does it stand for?
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta explain who I am and why. Oh, that's what you do. Why are you in that? You know what I'm saying? You are always explaining yourself. And then when I created my space, the ABA Alchemist page, the amount of connection, I mean, honestly, like as RBTs, this is what has kept me going. We all, which we'll touch on in the conference, but we all experience that burnout or that, that self-doubt, you know what I'm saying? And, we don't want that doubt to take us out. You know what I'm saying? Being in the social media space has curated such a different mindset perspective on the field of ABA. And when I do talk to my RBTs or BCBAs that aren't on the social media space, it's crazy to know how much they don't know is going on in the field. Like this is really like modern day newspaper,
No, really. No, you're right. You're right about that. And that just leads to the bigger point. Like sometimes RBTs feel so isolated. Like if you don't have that community of people to lean on, you can feel so isolated. People will not understand. Wait, you go to work to get yelled at, screamed at, and told no, and you're chasing kids all day. Wait, what do you do again?
You got hacked? What? Right. You got a scratch? Where it came from? Yes.
So I find that so cool. So just a shout out to a couple people on that panel with you. We got you as the moderator. We got Malaz, Taylor, Rebecca, Casey, who will be the BCBA voice on that panel. I can't wait to hear it. And then, so that's the voices from the field. And then we've got another panel, Frontline Impact, which I'm going to moderate. And we've got Isaiah, we got Javel, Tessa, Jacqueline. And so just first the diversity, and not just like, because obviously Black men are a very small portion of like the demographic in ABA. But seeing the diversity will also help on the different perspective, because I think culture competency is super big, not just for the client, but the RBT as well, you know?
Yes, yes. Actually, it's so funny you said that, because one of my cases, there was a black RBT, a black male RBT on there, which, he was amazing, but we'll talk more about that. But, when I came onto the case, he wasn't even notified that I was taking the case, and it's like, okay, where's the communication? Where's the acknowledgement, worked with a client for so long. Oh, there's, a more, crisis case that, he could be warranted on, but it's justice, what I mean? So it to have, like you said, black men in this field, like, it's amazing, but it's crazy where you guys kind of put in space,
Yeah.
like,
And we're
you're the firm one, I'm gonna just put it out there, y'all are expected to take the hard, and when it gets too easy, you know what I'm saying? But it starts with us.
It starts with us. I love that hashtag. Shout out to ABAVerzus. Yes, it's like, and I've experienced that firsthand, which is why I'm happy I'm a part of like the frontline impact, because when I first heard of it, I was like, that matches perfectly. You think of like frontline, you think of like your police officer, or you think of like your paramedic. They're showing up to the scene of whatever action just happened that needs some help, right?
Correct.
That is literally what we do. And not just as a black male RBT, but just as RBTs in general. When that kid's having that behavior, or when that kid needs help doing whatever it is, we're the ones showing up in tandem with our BCBA, but we're the ones on the front line day to day, seeing this kid progress and just grow into something super cool. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
No matter what setting we're in.
No matter what setting.
I mean, I go into these schools and they know my name. They're like, oh, hey, you're here again. Oh, I know what class you're going to. I know what portable you're going to.
Yes. And when I worked in the school setting, which is kind of why I had to get out, it's like they see that you're so good at what you do. They're like, oh, Mr. Rob, can we get you down here real quick? Little Timmy is, we just don't know. We see that you can connect real well. And that's why.
What do you suggest?
Right. And so I used to train RBTs like how to pass the test. And so training RBTs to pass the test versus actually implement what they're trained on is two different worlds. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so my biggest thing, which helped me out a lot, and I just want to give this tidbit out to people, is pair. Build a rapport with that child, no matter what that looks like. If you are sitting on the ground for 30 minutes playing with blocks or matching colors or creating a pattern or flying in the air, making cool noises, do that.
Yes.
Do that. That kid is going to be way more receptive to you if you don't. You understand what I'm saying? Pair. Depending on the kid, depending on the client, I may spend a week, 2 weeks just pairing. Mr. Rob, I see that you aren't like really pushing him to do anything. I always give this analogy. It's like when people come to your house, they don't just open your fridge right away or walk into your bedroom.
True.
And lay on your bed. No, you have conversations. You get to know these people first before you even let them in your house. That kid is still a human. That client is a human. Get to know them. Understand what their clicks are. What makes them happy. What might make them sad. What might trigger them. Understand that client before you start trying to place demands on them. Before you start trying to make them do what you want them to do. Get to know that kid. Build that rapport. I pair myself with fun so much. They're like,
you Santa Claus?
They're like, are you even teaching them anything? I'm like, actually, yes. Such and such couldn't even clap his hands 2 days ago. Watch this. Hey, buddy, I'm so happy for you. Clap your hands. And so I love it so much.
And you have to go far. Like, I've gone as far as one of my clients love fans, and I brought myself a matching fan, but in pink. I'm like, We both have twin flares, and oh my god, it lights up their day. But I think just as much as important it is to pair with the children, have the parents, right? We have to understand, what their goals are, even as RBTs. What is their goals and expectations for their child, so
Right.
that when we are working on certain things, they know why. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it could be something as simple as, I notice, he's not sitting still dinner time. Okay, so we're gonna work on different tasks, preferred tasks where your child remains seated, and then kind of go build to those non-preferred remaining activities. But just caring and communication, because we, like you said, we're the front line. We are spending most of the time, with our clients. We're around. If we're in their space, right? If we're in the school, we're constantly in somebody else's space. So making sure that we pay attention to everybody involved, all the stakeholders.
Definitely, I agree. Shout out to Jacqueline. She said she had a similar experience. She was a nurse asked her, how did they get someone to like me in school? And I would like her in school. And it's like, yo, just make yourself fun. That's like the biggest thing in this field. Make yourself fun. Everybody wants to have fun, especially if you're dealing with the younger demographic. Make everything.
And be genuine. Be yourself.
Yes.
That has, for me, I built a big rapport with the schools just by coming in the morning, smiling when I'm working out, smiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I signed up, so I better be smiling. I worked so hard to get to this point. I better be smiling coming in, coming out, no matter what happened in the between. You know what I'm saying? How are you? What happened during that session does not dictate my day. I know I did my best, and my client did their best.
And and we'll start wrapping it up. But yes, I had a similar experience. It's like people always ask me, Rob, did he just do milk on you? How are you still smiling? It's like, bro, he's just trying to tell me something. Once I figure out exactly what's trying to tell me, I'm gonna help change him and help change that behavior into like a nice, appropriate replacement behavior. And then he'll just tell me exactly what he wants instead of throwing milk on me. It's cool. It's cool right now. It's like, that's cool. I'm like, I'm like, whoa, dude, you spilled the milk on me. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to go in your mouth. Sometimes I miss my mouth too. It's like, make it fun,
Yeah.
As we wrap up, we want to make sure we implore everybody to, if you have not registered, go on Behavior University. If you don't know how to get there, you can go on our Instagram, our Facebook page. We have the link. All our social medias is the Behavior Technician Conference or just Behavior Technician Conference. Hit the link, go on Behavior University, see what we have to offer. You can see the whole layout from start to finish, all the different speakers, the panelists. We have drop the mic speakers. We got some, we're gonna do like some cool activities, some breakout rooms, some networking opportunities. We're offering 5 CEUs if BCBAs are wondering, like, should I join this? What am I gonna get from this if this is just for RBTs? First, BCBA should be the biggest advocate for RBTs. Mm-hmm. And second, come get your CEUs that we know you need. And we also have another discount code right now on top of what's on there. Not hashtag, but it starts with Troy. It starts with Troy. That's additional 40% off your ticket, whichever one you grab. I'm excited to see y'all there. Any last things, Mikayla?
No, I'm excited. I'm listen, and even RBT, even if you're not collecting those CEUs, show up.
Yes.
Show up. As far as I see, I think the board, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to require us anyways in the future to have to collect CEUs. So it's time for you to get yourself familiar with CEUs. Listen, I can't tell you the amount of knowledge I acquired from my conference that completely shifted my mindset. So this is an event you do not want. You gonna feel like you in the room. I know it's virtual, but you gonna feel like you in the room.
I agree. I totally agree. This couldn't have come at a better time. I wouldn't have wanted to do it any better, people. I love everybody who's a part of this. I'm so excited. Come learn, come network. Let's build a community. Let's grow this thing. Let's keep it going every year. May 3rd, all-day virtual conference streamed on Behavior University, brought to you by the ABA Collab. Our shout out, first of all, before we go, we got to make sure we shout out to Conference Chair Rashida. Super proud of her. She's been like the biggest advocate for RBTs. Sure, she's the chair, but she's like making sure all the RBTs that are a part of this planning are like putting their voice in, putting their insight. So I'm so proud of everybody that's a part of this. I can't wait to go live with you guys on May 3rd. Register if you haven't yet. We still have time to become a sponsor if you'd like to. Get your RBT bundles if you just want to sponsor RBTs.
Guys, sponsor.
Yes. Don't forget, it starts with us. It starts with us. Thanks, Mikayla, for going live with me. I'm super excited. Can't wait.
It was a pleasure, as always.
As always. Peace, y'all. Can't wait to see y'all there May 3rd.